Namaste. I am Dr. Sriram Santi, Chairman, Gandhi 150 US Commemorative Stamp Initiative, Vice President, Gandhi Memorial, Chicago. Today I am going to speak on Mohandas Gandhi, a spiritual seeker. Introduction to Mohandas or Mahatma Gandhi. An experimental life. Gandhi's presence in the 20th century, a century that perfected the art of extermination, is strangely arresting. His life seems peculiarly unhoused in the violent landscape of his times. How, by what twist of historical fate, did this frail, ungainly man with teapot ears, whose figure wrapped in handspun cloth evoked a faded, archetypal memory of saintliness, wander into the modern world, and how, for a time, did he electrify it? What was he doing there, and what can the trace of his presence mean to us today? More than 50 years after his assassination in 1948, Gandhi has become a symbol, a myth, and even a commodity. Yet we are still far from taking the measure of his 20th century's most enigmatic, remarkable personality. Confronted by the vast corpus of his writings and speeches, which include the collected works of Mahatma Gandhi, which make up a 100-volume monument, interpreters continue to quarrel, and seeing him variously as a spiritual paragon, a wily politician, a psychological and anthropological curiosity, an inventor of political techniques of nonviolence and of civil disobedience, and a critic of modernity. Mahatma Gandhi, when he was assassinated on January 30th, 1948, the world hailed him as one of the greatest spiritual leaders, not just of the century, but of all time. He was ranked with Thoreau, Tolstoy, and St. Francis, but also with Buddha, Muhammad, and even Jesus the Christ. Generations to come will scarce believe that such a one as this ever in flesh and blood walked upon this earth. So said Nobel laureate Albert Einstein after the assassination of Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhi's legacy includes the brilliantly waged struggle against institutionalized racism in South Africa, the independent movement of India, a groundbreaking path of interreligious dialogue, but also boasts the first widespread application of nonviolence as the most powerful tool for positive social change. Again, it also boasts the Gandhi's legacy, the first widespread application of nonviolence as the most powerful tool for positive social change. Gandhi's nonviolence was not simply political, it was rooted and grounded in the spiritual, which is why he exploded beyond India's political stage and onto the world stage, for his own lifetime and for all times. Gandhi was first and foremost a religious man in search of God. For more than 50 years, he pursued truth, proclaiming that the best way to discover truth is through the practice of active, faith-based nonviolence. Gandhi has helped many people in the work for peace and interreligious dialogue and civil disobedience and opposition to nuclear weapons. Gandhi again seemed to see how he survived prison and understood civil disobedience. For more than 2 decades, whoever read Gandhi's writings and biographies to find clues about how to live humanly in our inhuman world. Somebody asked him how to live humanly in our inhuman world. Gandhi's answer is always the same: steadfast, persistent, dedicated, committed, patient, relentless, truthful, prayerful, loving, active, nonviolence. The key words are truthful, prayerful, loving, active, nonviolence. Always Gandhi expressed in his lifetime single-minded devotion to nonviolence, and he was always among old friends, engaged in passionate discussion with every person that interacted with him. Gandhi has started a new movement called for the social change, also called Satyagraha, from the Sanskrit word truth force. he led a movement against racial injustice in South Africa and then brought about a non-violent revolution in India that secured independence from the British Empire. His example and teachings inspire us all to apply the same single-mindedness in our pursuit of an end to war, nuclear weapons, environmental destruction, violence, hunger, poverty and injustice, and the creation of a culture of peace, justice and non-violence. In other words, he challenges us to become prophets and apostles of non-violence. Gandhi's life in South Africa has always turned into a transformation of himself, which was a slow, painful process of daily renunciation, prayer, study and radical experimentation with his own life at great personal cost. At the age of 18, Gandhi was shipped to law school in England, where at first he tried to become a perfect Westerner, even learning how to dance and play the violin. When he returned to India in 1891, he was unable to find a job, and so his relatives suggested he pursue an offer to practice law for the Indian community in South Africa. Desperate and excited, he boarded a ship to South Africa in 1893. Chronology of life of Gandhi. October 2nd, 1869, Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was born to Karamchand and Putli Bai in Porbandar, India. At age 13, in 1882, he marries Kasturi Bai Makkanji. In 1888, September 4th, he sails to London to study law. In 1891, June 11th, he was admitted to the bar and becomes a lawyer and sails back to India on the next day. In May of 1893, he moves to Durban, South Africa to practice law. 1 week after his arrival, he is thrown off a train for refusing to move to the third class section because of his skin color and decides to spend all his energy fighting racism and injustice. He founds weekly newspaper Indian Opinion, buys 100 acres near Durban and founds the Phoenix Farm, his first ashram. In September 11th, gives a stirring speech at a mass meeting in Johannesburg and inspiring thousands of Indians to disobey racist laws, professes a vow of celibacy, publishes Hind Swaraj or Indian Home Rule, calling for India's independence and return to village life. On January 10, 1908, he undergoes first arrest and first night in jail in Johannesburg, adopts the term Satyagraha and encourages Indians to burn their registration cards. In 1909, begins correspondence with Tolstoy. 1910, buys 1100 acres near Johannesburg and establishes his second ashram, the Tolstoy Farm. 1913, leads a great march from Newcastle to Oakhurst and gets arrested again. And in 1914, he negotiates the Indian Relief Act with the South African government. January 18th, leaves South Africa and visits England. In 1915, he returns to India and participates in the independence movement of India through Satyagraha. He begins campaign in Champaran on behalf of sharecroppers, which attracts national attention in 1917. In 1920, he reorganizes the Indian Congress Party, launches the Satyagraha campaign, and the independence movement begins anew. 1922, suspends civil disobedience campaign due to violence, but is arrested. March 18th, at the great trial, sentenced to 6 years in prison. 1924, February 5th, released from prison because of poor health, conducts 21-day fast for Hindu-Muslim unity. In 1926, begins his autobiography, Story of My Experiments with Truth. In 1930, March 12th to April 6th, carries out the Salt March to Dundee and launches new Satyagraha campaign. May 4th, again gets arrested and imprisoned. In 1932, January 4th, gets arrested and imprisoned 1 week after returning from England. And September 20th, declares a fast from death to end untouchability. In 1933 May, released from prison after beginning another 21-day fast. Leaves Sabarmati Ashram and moves to Wardha and begins nationwide tour, founds a journal called Harijan. In 1935, built Sevagram, a model village in Wardha. In August 9th, he gets arrested and imprisoned in 1942. In 1944, Kasturibai dies in prison with Gandhi at her side. 1947, August 15, India wins independence. Gandhi prays and fasts for unity and non-violence. September 1st, undertakes a fast unto death to stop brutal riots and massacres in Calcutta. And 3 days later, when the violence ends, Gandhi breaks his fast. On January 38, 1948, he was assassinated by a Hindu nationalist, Mr. Nathuram Godse. Mohandas Gandhi, also called Mahatma Gandhi, is an epitome of peace through non-violence. He pursued truth as his basic principle and ahimsa or non-violence as the method to achieve concrete goals of independence and freedom to many a human being. Half of the world has benefited from his Satyagraha movement, and many nations followed his freedom path to freedom movement, including South Africa, and in USA, Martin Luther King for African Americans to obtain freedom, and in Poland, Lech Walesa, in Philippines, Benigno Aquino, in Burma, Aung San Suu Kyi, and many others followed his principles, and he became an icon of peace and non-violence. He was a spiritual seeker, and one should remember him, and we all are beneficiaries of freedom because of his struggle and fight towards racial inequality and social injustice. Namaste and thank you.